Welcome to the Real College Life Podcast. This is a super fun episode. Students only. So we are all currently students at the University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point. And we thought we'd bring some, just context and encouragement to our fall retreat that's coming up in a few weeks. So we wanted just to get together and just talk about what the weekend looks like and give some context to the speaker that we're going to have, some of the fun activities, and just how you can posture your heart in the right way going into the weekend. So my name is Kyle Wilterdink. I am a junior here at UWSP.
My name's Jeremy, sophomore here at UWSP too.
I'm Kelly. I'm a sophomore here at UWSP.
I'm Alanna, and I'm a senior preparing to graduate from UWSP.
That's awesome. I think it's so fun that we can have, all different like age groups, completely different majors, get together and share a commonality and just talk about, fellowship and what that looks like, especially just in a diverse group of people. Is there anyone that wants to give maybe some context to what the weekend would look like? Coming up.
Yeah, I totally can speak on that. I have gone to Fall Getaway for the past 2 years, and I feel like both times I'm just super excited to kind of jump into the weekend and see what it has for us. So a little bit of an outline. We're there Friday evening through Sunday morning, and so we get the chance to hear from a speaker. Throughout the weekend, we have a few sessions with a speaker that is someone that we normally don't get to encounter in our weekly meetings at Cru on Thursdays. And so last year we had a speaker from Australia Cru, which was super cool to kind of get some more context about what's going on over there and just hear about their background and hear how they've kind of, grown into the roles that they have now and just learn from them along the way. And we also have quiet time and just good time for fellowship with one another. Both things were super important to me as I went my first year, and I think quiet time especially was much more important to me than I realized the second time around. And then the thing that brought me to Fall Getaway was because I was on worship band. So we also have plenty of time for worship throughout the weekend, and it's super fun to just kind of see what that looks like in a group of people and bring maybe people who haven't experienced that before together for the weekend and just, see what that looks like.
That's good. Anybody else have anything?
Guess I could speak a little bit on speaker from last year. If you didn't know, I've been to Australia. Went to Australia this past summer on a summer mission. Got to meet the speaker again. His name's John. It's a common name, but just getting to grow that relationship, just continue that from Fall Getaway too, and it's really great to just build off that. Seems like just pick up where we left off. Yeah,
that's cool. How about the there's a bunch of free time activities. I think there's horseback riding, right, Kelly?
Yeah, I went on that. It was a really cool experience. You get to go on a path and you're kind of in control of the horse. So you get to learn about that.
That's crazy. Yeah, there's tons of stuff. We have a big capture the flag game that we play. So we're at a camp the entire weekend. So it is a Christian camp in northern Wisconsin. And it's a pretty large camp on the water. We get to, we divide the camp into two sides and then divide into two teams for whoever wants to play. There's other stuff going on at the same time too. But whoever wants to play capture the flag throughout the entire property. It's pretty fun. I played my first year. I did not play my second year, but and then archery tag is just another fun event. There's some people that despite the cold fall temps, that jump in the water and just to say they did it, and why not, right? Canoeing, fishing, things like that. Anything up north fall like it's a fun time. And then stargazing stuff too at night. Fire, sitting around the fire, singing some songs. It's
Make
good.
some s'mores. Yeah,
for sure.
So good.
Yeah. Would anyone like to add on kind of maybe what Jeremy was saying, was there any like maybe perspectives that we can take away from just having a speaker that maybe does come from a different background or have just different views on just their mission to share Jesus with the world.
I can say a few words on that. I feel like for me, coming to college just as a whole, I feel like I didn't have a lot of experiences similar to this. Like a lot of people have gone to life groups growing up, or they had kind of fellowship and things like with a home church or something, and I didn't really get any of that. And so going to Fall Getaway, and even just Cru as a whole, but then expanding that to Fall Getaway and that experience, I feel like taught me so much and was so inspiring, because it's like I hear so many stories about other people and how other people are learning and taking what God is showing them through everyday life and kind of, implementing that into their life as they move forward. And I feel like coming into college, I thought that I knew what that looked like, but then gaining new experiences and hearing from people who have, multiple different experiences that I haven't gone through yet, and kind of learning from that has been super beneficial for my walk with the Lord individually.
For sure.
I could say something too, like a little bit like you, Alanna. Didn't really know too much, just about in general stuff, and it was also just like maybe like a week or two before Fall Getaway, I actually gave my life to Christ.
Mm-hmm.
So hopping right into it, and it's definitely a lot of new territory in life, and so I think it was a pretty good start.
Yeah.
Having a new speaker from somewhere else, and I think it was good to just expand on that as well.
Yeah, I think something for me, Fall Getaway was like the first big event I went to, right? Coming to college, even throughout my childhood, I've always just been a homebody. And so then coming to college is one thing. And then it's now I'm in college and I met these people. This is fun. This is cool. But now they want me to go up north with them. What's happening? My spiritual life wasn't really developed either at that point. So I had there's a lot of anxiety there. But I mean, it was really great. But at the same time, there's a lot of development. It can be overwhelming, I think. But I think it was just helpful knowing, recognizing, there are quite a few people here that don't know what they're doing there, but they're there and making the most of it. It's something I don't regret. That's for sure. So I'm really excited just, to continue to get to go as a student. Get to meet new people and just continue to learn from speakers and then just fellowship, quiet time, talking over some meals together. It's really good. Yeah, I wanted to touch on this year's speaker. So this year's speaker is Candace Seward. Candace is on staff with Unto, which is Cru's humanitarian ministry. So Unto is kind of works in the areas of helping with food and agriculture, clean water, and critical aid. Candace has been to 59 countries serving people and sharing the love of Jesus, which is pretty crazy. I actually got to spend a month with Candace in Greece this summer on an Unto summer mission. It was just a fantastic opportunity. And now I am really excited for Candace to come back. Not only to get to just connect with her, maybe reminisce on the trip, but then also just to hear more about what she has to say about how we can love people well, and especially just serving them in their needs and time of need. Just for people around me to get to know her. It was really cool to get to spend that time with her. Just the encouragement that she'll be able to give to the people around me, I'm really excited about. I just have to share maybe some key takeaways that we've had after attending Fall Getaway. Maybe some friendships you developed, or just, where you are in your faith. Just maybe how that was maybe a pivotal moment for growth and development, or maybe it wasn't, and that's okay too. Did you guys have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I can talk about that. So my freshman year, I was really nervous to go to Fall Getaway. I kind of wanted nothing to do with it, but I was just like, seems like a good opportunity. I'll go ahead and sign up at one of our women's events. And the whole time I was like on the way there, my mom was having to like hype me up. That she was like, "It's gonna be fine. Like you're gonna have fun, and it's a weekend. It's one weekend." I was like, "Yep." And I would say like definitely don't be afraid to talk to new people because I was playing Uno with one of the groups of girls, and I ended up like becoming really good friends with them. One of the girls I was playing with, we ended up hitting it off really well, and she's now my discipler. So you definitely get to meet a lot of new people and like have those conversations that you wouldn't normally have time for like at a normal Cru meeting. So it's really cool that way to be able to like get to know people.
Yeah, it's really cool, Kelly. Yeah, just how putting yourself out there, just brought you closer to people, and that's how it works, right? That's awesome.
Definitely.
Especially over Uno, assuming that it was spicy Uno.
Yeah.
Not just like, regular Uno's great too, I suppose. But
but spicy Uno is so much better.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if you don't know what spicy Uno is, you're definitely gonna have to come to Fall Getaway or Winter Conference. It's a blast.
It's definitely an experience.
Yeah.
For sure. So I also had a reflection from Fall Getaway that I actually wrote in my journal after my freshman year. And I thought I'd read a little bit of that for you guys. Maybe, not to give an expectation, but rather just maybe a relatable reflection of just a possible outcome of the weekend. So I'll just give a little snippet of that. So the biggest takeaway I got from Fall Getaway was how big intentionality is in both faith and everyday life. Between prayer, relationships, friendships, time management, the people I surrounded myself with, and so on. Another impactful moment for me was the physical surrendering of my sins. Actually setting a lit candle on the table had a feeling of accountability and true weight of burdens lifted off my shoulder. I got to meet and spend time with some amazing people. I hope to keep these relationships for a lifetime. It's really cool, like reflecting on that and recognizing how true those things still are, especially like the end, like I met all these amazing people and like, I don't know, 2 years ago writing, I hope to keep these relationships for a lifetime. And now most of these people are super close friends. And just being able to recognize that if I hadn't gone to Fall Getaway, I don't know where I'd be. Like not only my relationship with God, but also just the community around me.
Yeah. I also agree with that. Like, I just feel like you never would get to experience that with people. And like for me, when I went to Fall Getaway, I was strictly going to Cru Thursdays. I wasn't going to church with people. I wasn't going to Bible studies. It was just Cru on Thursdays. And then once I had Fall Getaway, I was kind of all in. Like I started going to church with like people I met. I started going to Bible study. Like I was all in from that point. So it was cool to see it go from like 0 to 100 and just enjoy every moment of that.
For sure. I think one of the things that I was like worried about committing to Fall Getaway was like, oh my goodness, like I'm going to take like 3 days where like I am not on campus. I have to like make sure all my homework's done beforehand. Like this is a lot to like think about. I wasn't really great at time management to begin with. Like, and so then like knowing like I just felt maybe stressed about that. And then like even like that followed suit for the rest of the year. Like Cru does have a lot of really intentional opportunities. But it feels like a lot. But something I talked to a pastor a while ago, and he talked about how he got involved into campus ministry. And he kind of was a little interested, and then finally one of the staff from the campus ministry came up to him and was like, oh, I recognize you from this event. And, he kind of waved it off a little bit. And that pastor, I can't remember word for word what he had said, but it was like, or I guess not the pastor, the staff had said like something like, in college, we're always going to have something to do. There will always be homework. There will always be like, something to attend. But especially like the homework piece of it, like there will always be that stressor there. Like you can complete something and then you're just going to keep thinking about what's going to happen next week. And so being able to like just rest and take a step back for a period of time is crucial. And then also to do that and build strong community and friendships as well is really big. So that was just like a really cool encouragement. Like I had already known that meeting up with this pastor, but then like the way like that just like kind of spoke to me with like when it comes to other things, like being able to still prioritize like getting rest, going to things, getting poured into, and it not always having to be worried or stressed about what my academics look like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can definitely speak on that too. I feel like the first year that I went to Fall Getaway, it was mostly because I was asked to be on band for the weekend, and I like was super excited to be part of something. It was the fall of my sophomore year, and I had just joined worship band at the very end of my freshman year, and so I feel like I was really excited to get back to school just to like be a part of something finally. And so when I was asked to go to Fall Getaway for that reason, I was just kind of like, yeah, sure, I can do that. And I didn't really know what it looked like or what to expect when I got there. And I also didn't have like deep friendships within Cru or really like anywhere on campus at that point. And so I remember, similar to Kelly, I was so nervous to go. And I was like, yeah, I'm there with the band. So like I'm there with a group of people that I kind of know. But besides that, like when I'm not doing band stuff, what am I going to do? Like who am I going to talk to? And so I remember there was one point on Friday night, I think, where we separated by like grade level. And I knew nobody in my grade. And I was like terrified to go down there. I was like, I don't know. I think I was hanging out with I was a sophomore, so a junior at the time. And when they said like we're going to disperse by grade level, I was like, oh no, like how am I going to have a conversation? Like I don't even know I don't know any of these people. And so I feel like that was the biggest thing at the end of the weekend, was realizing that like there's a whole community of people who really care about each other right in front of me. And like that was the first big step that I took to like immerse myself in the group of people. And yeah, that was my main takeaway from my first time going. And then I would say my second time going, I obviously was more comfortable with Cru. I knew more of what to expect. And the quiet time was something that like really hit me that time, because I feel like the first time going, I was so stressed about like, who am I going to hang out with? Who am I going to talk to? What am I going to do if I'm like nervous or don't know what to say or how to relate to people? And so the second time around, it was like, now I have my friends, people know who I am, I feel more comfortable, hanging out there. But seeing how God like used me and taught me things in that quiet time, and just kind of like helped me to learn to take a step back and to relax and to like not go into the weekend stressed about all the things I'm going to have to do on Sunday when I get back, or exhausted from all the homework I tried to do throughout the week to get it done. But instead just like learning to be present and to just kind of reflect on what God was teaching me through that weekend of being kind of immersed with this amazing group of people and all of these learning opportunities. So, yeah.
I definitely had a similar experience where I was hanging out with a sophomore, and then they're like, okay, freshmen are going to go here. And I was like, I don't know anybody. Like, I didn't have anyone with me other than that sophomore. And then it was like cool because you got to like know people's names, and like people started like saying hi and like remembering my name. And I was like, whoa, like I'm actually remembered. Like that's awesome. Mm-hmm. So,
Alanna, I was wondering if you'd be able to just tell us the heart behind worship, especially at Fall Getaway. As I kind of alluded to in my little journal entry that I read off, there is like this surrender piece that we do. And that's kind of incorporated in our worship. What does that look like? And what is that like preparing as like a worship band? What is kind of the intentionality behind that?
Yeah, so worship as a whole, I feel like takes a lot of different, it looks different a lot of the time throughout the weekend, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So when we get there on Friday and even on Saturday night, I feel like we try to keep the energy really high. We're like hyped to be together and to worship all, in the same room and just be excited for what the weekend has in store. And then in the past, the morning sessions have been just a little bit more chill, just kind of opening up, the day and worshiping Jesus from, after staying up all night, most likely, and being excited to kind of immerse ourselves into the day that is before us. But the surrender piece has been super special for me. I think both times that I've gone, it's left an impact, just because to me it's so cool to see how worship kind of like wraps up into that moment, and how like our music that we prepare is, used to kind of aid that experience that people are having. And so from a worship band perspective, it's really cool to, sorry, this is like falling off my head.
Good.
It's really cool to focus on like what that's going to look like once we're in front of people. We can rehearse and prepare for that moment, whatever. But when it comes time to actually, be there and do the thing, it's really important for us to think about where our heart is at. I feel like as musicians in front of people, we're not performing. We're not there for the praise to be on us, but we're there to kind of help aid that experience for people to worship Jesus. And the attention should not be on, our gifts or what we're bringing to the table, but instead just kind of help other people experience what worship looks like. And so, especially for the surrender piece, usually that's more of a quiet moment between every person in the room and Jesus, and just a time for people to kind of reflect on what they're going through, maybe what their lives look like outside of Fall Getaway, something that maybe God's been laying on their heart. And so being able to leave space for that to actually happen and for the vulnerability to take place, I think, between, all those students in the room and whatever they're going through. It's really cool from a band's perspective to be able to like help in that situation and kind of set the scene for those heart postures and how God could be moving in all of those people's lives. It's really cool, really special to me.
That's awesome. Yeah. And it's amazing. I can vividly remember like the past 2 years of just like, that moment. I can even, I think, reflect on like what I think I surrendered in those times, which is really cool. And I also wanted to add to like, if that's something that sounds foreign to you, or like in a spiritual way, it's just like maybe not super familiar with either worship or a surrender piece or what that looks like, that is totally fine. I know my freshman year, it was like, I don't know what's happening. Like this is, it kind of seems a little daunting. And that's totally fine. I think there's a part of that is helpful. The fact that like we're just experiencing something new. And there isn't any expectation that of participation or involvement by any means. But rather just an opportunity to reflect on the weekend, on things that we're going through, whether that's something that's super positive or something that you're struggling with and want to work through, whether it's with God or just processing that, and maybe then exploring what that could look like spiritually, and finding somebody that you met that weekend or talking to a staff or a leader about practical steps to do with the things that we're processing in a spiritual way. And you're really encouraged to do that, especially as leaders. We love when people come up to us and ask us about, just how maybe we take steps forward in our faith, or what it is that they can do to kind of get through an area that they're in. Sure. That's good. Yeah. So speaking of that, do you guys have any encouragement for people that maybe are on the fence for going? So it does feel daunting or maybe just a little nerve-wracking. Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely just say like there's always going to be a little anxiety there, like as a first time, like you don't know what to expect, but definitely just go in with like the mindset of like being open to trying new things, like not just wanting to sit in your room the whole time, just like open to trying new things, meeting new people, and like just remembering that it's one weekend. So if it's something that's really not for you, you don't have to do it again, but it's definitely, you have to go in with the correct like heart posture and be willing to try and meet new people and have that experience.
For sure.
Just sign up. If you're on the fence, just sign up. I know if you hesitate, you're like, thinking back and forth. Do I want to join? Do I not? Just sign up. if you do that, and then kind of just think about what happens after, that you can't really back out. But I promise.
I mean, you could,
That.
but
We don't want you to.
But you shouldn't. But no, just let I promise that you won't regret that decision.
Mm.
And it'll definitely, if you're kind of like, scared, anxious, trying to meet new people, I know this will definitely help.
mm-hmm.
It really kicks you out of your comfort zone a little bit,
Mhm.
but nobody ever really meets new people by staying in their box.
Right.
Yeah.
So
That's good.
definitely, it's good to get out there and just see how much you can grow and see how others are around you as well. So yeah.
Yeah, you can learn a lot off of so many people, especially people that are in like a similar season of life
Yeah.
that we're in.
Mhm.
And if they're in a different season of life, if older or younger, like we can learn off them so much too. Especially if they're a little older than us, whether it's a college student or a crew staff or the speaker, they've probably lived through it too, or know what it looks like to live through that. And so it can be huge to put yourself in those environments where there are people that really want to help you and encourage you and support you. And Cru is one of those places, but especially Fall Getaway is a great place to start.
Yeah, I would definitely add to that. I feel like for me, my freshman and sophomore year, I feel like I definitely waited until I was like required to do something or like asked to do something to participate. I feel like for me, it was really easy to just kind of be in the background and like pretend that I didn't exist or like I was okay in my comfort zone. And so if I could go back and tell like younger me anything, or if I could tell anyone that's like on the fence and interested about learning more or maybe going, but they're just like me and can make every excuse in the book to be comfortable where they're at, I feel like it is so beneficial to just take a step into something that maybe scares you a little bit or into something that is unknown to you. Because A, that's how you grow. That's how you experience new things and learn about what it's all about. And B, like you said, like I remember talking to upperclassmen. One of them actually became my roommate for junior year. And I remember speaking to her for the first time and I was like so nervous because I felt like she was just so like aware and her life must just be so much better and like she must be so much more prepared than I was. And we ended up having a conversation about being in very similar circumstances and like having very similar feelings that we were kind of processing throughout the weekend. And so getting the chance to talk to her and just kind of like make a realization for myself that other people may seem to know it all or to be comfortable where they are, but they can also be going through things that I'm experiencing at the same time. And just getting the chance to like build on a friendship over that like one random thing that came up in conversation is just so special. And I couldn't imagine missing out on that just because I was comfortable where I was. So
Yeah.
And like on the self growth end of it, like I was reflecting last night when we were signing up for Fall Getaway. I was like, it was crazy how a year ago I was terrified to go. Like everyone was like, just sign up, just put your name down. And I was like, okay, fine. And like last night I was so excited. I was like, yep, put my name down. I'm going. I'm ready. So
For sure. It's probably got to be one of my favorite events that we do out of the year. It's so cool. Yeah, I guess I had a couple thoughts of just encouragement for those who are planning on going and will be there. I think going into the weekend without any expectations can be really helpful. Because if we come into it with expectations and leave without those being met, it doesn't, make for the best feeling of the experience. I'm not saying that we can't have good expectations. And I really hope that, the thoughts that you do have of how you want to grow spiritually or connect with people are met. And I know it can be, if you're intentional about how you spend your time, and whether that's free time, joining some people playing Uno or going finding someone to take a canoe on the water or something, just like really developing those relationships and friendships, can be big. And then another piece of advice or encouragement is, pack like appropriately, especially an extra pair of shoes. It was muddy one year, and I really regretted only having one pair of shoes because I was wearing soaking wet shoes for a day. But yeah, that, and it's northern Wisconsin, so weather can be unpredictable. Yeah, that being said, we're super excited for you guys to join us, and we can't wait to see you guys there. We're praying that you have an opportunity to come. And then we were able to maybe provide some context just to the weekend, and just give some relatable reflections on what it might look like. We'll see you there. Thanks for listening.